All right, Athlete Builder back at it. New guy today, Shelton Bynum. But first, as always, we're brought to you by the AEA Institute. The Mental Edge Academy is running hard right now. Added new things this summer where we're coaching the captains of the team on leadership. We're also coaching some of the coaches on being burned out. That's a thing, right? So we help them out with that. So the AEA Institute, hit me up for our summer session and boot camp. We got Shelton Bynum here today. First off, shout out Chad Coy, pro strongman, Parisi master coach. Worked with him on a number of things. Awesome dude. Very, very knowledgeable. Strong
Yes.
as hell. And
Yeah.
his basically his mantra is just be nice. So awesome dude. A little bit about Shelton though.
Hey, I'm gonna correct you. I think his mantra is "Don't be a dick."
Don't be a dick. Yep.
Yeah, that's
That
one of his
sounds, yeah.
things.
Well, he says it a lot of ways, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool about Sheldon, strength coach, haven't had a strength coach on in a minute. Had Greg Town last week with golf, but this guy is all the way out in Colorado State. Comes from a different background where it wasn't always just strength and conditioning all the way. I think his path kind of found him a little bit, but
Hmm.
played D1 at a high level at UNC. Worked his way up to camps with the Falcons, Giants, and Browns. And everyone knows I love the Cleveland Browns, even though they're ass.
I'm
I
sorry to hear
absolutely
that.
love that program because I'm from Cleveland. Now he's a strength coach out in Colorado State. So things are constantly moving up, and
Yeah.
we're lucky to have him on the show. So first, Shelton, thanks for being here.
No, I appreciate you, Jim, for having me on, man. I appreciate you just thinking enough of me to want to have me up here and talk to you and your followers.
Well, Shelton's a smart guy, and he's very humble, which is a great leadership skill. But don't let him fool you. He knows his stuff. He's done some things. He's moved some weight and moved some people. But if you're a recommendation from Chad Coy, who's a brick shithouse of a man in terms of being strong, Shelton, surely you got to know a story or two about Chad that he's not going to want to be
He's a,
spreading out on YouTube right now. But we're going to do it anyways.
he's a freaking Viking, man. Chad looks like a Viking. I go in there and watch him work out, and he'd take the shirt out and the shoulders are this wide, and he's got the hairy chest and all of that. But like you said, man, like Chad's a really good guy. One thing I can say, have you ever seen him squeeze into a squat suit? Yes. One of the funniest things I've seen when they were training him and one of his athletes he was training, who was also a fellow coach. They they would be prepping in the gym, and to watch them squeeze and wiggle themselves in those squat suits are like something of amazing. I think I've seen them put a bar on a rack and start to wiggle themselves into it and then strap the suit around the bar and hop up and down just so they can get down in there good and tight. So I kind of had a good laugh at Chad and Tyler about putting that suit on and squeezing into that suit and looking quite ridiculous. And then there's the Chad that you don't get to see often if you're in the gym with him a lot. He's serious Chad, but we had at the gym we had a Christmas dinner or celebration at the end where one of our younger coaches and athletes he was training started sneaking him some drinks, and he got real friendly, real loose, man. That's the most I've seen Chad smile and laugh and joke and ever. Like I said, if you're in there in the gym with him, he's a pretty serious dude. But I've seen him kind of let his hair back when he was celebrating with his coaches and his staff at the gym. So I ain't gonna spill all the beans. Just know he's got a lighthearted side to him.
I've not seen that lighthearted side very much. He's usually mostly business. I
Yeah,
can't empathize with having that. I got a hairy chest, but he's got like a dead bear hanging on his chest. His thing's so
he's
hairy.
got a full cashmere going up there,
He
man. But
does. He does. So
he,
he's got to be
he
warm all year long.
yeah, he
Tell me,
definitely rocks it.
Sheldon, what do you love about football?
What I love about football, I love the camaraderie, the locker room. The brotherhood that you build with guys that you don't know from a can of paint when you first come in. And to say you don't really get to see that until after you're gone. I mean, obviously in the midst of it, you're developing friendships, some lifelong friends, you're developing some guys that, you can rely on, look at them as teammates, as other guys are like just straight out brothers. So there's something to be said about that camaraderie in the locker room and that shared struggle when we come together for a common goal, not only to win, but just like to better yourself in your situation in your life, for the classes, the study hall, the parties, like I said, being on the field, in other stadiums, playing, and then the competition piece of it. It's free organized chaos and man on man violence, legal violence for 6 to 7 seconds at a time. So if you can get away with pushing somebody and slamming them down and grabbing them and throwing them to the ground, I mean, why not enjoy that? But I'd say those two things. Like looking back at it, it's the competition piece of it, getting up and not knowing what's going to happen each play, but just kind of knowing you got to give it your all and see what happens and bounce back and do it again. And then, like I said, that locker room, that brotherhood, that friendship, that camaraderie, man. Still got guys 20 years later, we can still jump on the phone and pick up a conversation like nothing ever happened from the last time we walked off the field. So, and to be shocking is like that on the coaching side too. When you're not actually coaching football, you get away from that locker room, that same shared struggle, that common goal, trying to come together and do something great.
Uh, I've only talked to you one other time, I think, and it's a good thing my wife isn't here because she would say, the way you say locker room, that Barry White voice that you got there, she started questioning that she needs to be with me. What do you love about the weight room?
What I love about the weight room. So this was a completely different side for me, right? This was a flip coming from, and I'm sure we're gonna get into a little bit of my background later with me actually starting as a football coach and then transitioning into the weight room. The weight room offers a different side of development, right? When we take away the X's and O's and trying to memorize plays and understanding where you're supposed to be at what time, it just comes down to basic movement and want to and will. You can see guys get better at a squat. You can see guys get better at a power clean, at a hang clean. You can see guys get stronger with their bench press. And that just comes from the consistency and the work. So like being able to show them every day, if you show up and you put force into the bar and you come in with that mindset that I'm gonna get better at something, whether it's doing another rep, whether it's doing more weight, whether it's doing my technique better, whether it's jumping higher, like something you can set small goals and achieve them in the weight room. And then those small goals can add up to something great. And then you see their confidence start to build with it, starting to understand that, oh, I am capable of doing this. I can get better at this. I can work through this challenge and this adversity. Because weights are challenging. At 6:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m. in the morning for a college kid coming in, don't tell them what they did the night before and what their background is like. Coming in, us yelling at them with all our high energy and demanding from them. It's hard. I mean, we can both agree to it. But seeing them being able to handle that and grow through that and get better, like I said, in their confidence and their movement efficiency and being able to take that into life outside of the walls onto the football field. So I think seeing the culture, seeing the personality come out, and then like I said, just getting better at doing something each day and seeing them grow is what I love about the weight room. It's not about X's and O's. They know that's their livelihood. It's strictly about getting better as a person, as an athlete.
Yeah. You touched on something that's my favorite thing in the weight room, and I've run a gym. I'm in year 14, and
Mhm.
I work with all shapes and sizes. And to a T, at some point, almost everyone there, except for maybe a few that were like legit athletes beforehand, there's always some level of fear
Mm,
at some point. And early on, for those that have never really worked in a weight room before, and they come in my mind, it's kind of like a dungeon. It's a powerlifting, strongman, CrossFit gym. And
no
so there's
windows, no
principally
mirrors.
no mirrors, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Atlas stones and back in the day and farmers carries. But the the fear of, can I do this? Can I hang? Can I keep going? And then maybe a year or 2 or 3 later, those same people that will be coming in and are like, "Hey, there's the program. Here's how I plan to attack it. What do you think?"
Mm,
Right? Not, "Can I get through this? Am I gonna look silly? Am I gonna get hurt? Am I gonna do all right?" To, "Here's how I'm planning to attack."
yeah,
And that's a whole shift in their identity. When that happens, man, that's just pure joy for me.
yeah. I love to see that too. That tiptoeing and not sure about how they're gonna handle something, like you said. But then coming in like, all right, we're gonna do it one step at a time. We're gonna do it one rep at a time. I'll grab a couple guys as they're walking into the room and just ask them like, what type of day we're gonna have. 'Cause we're gonna have a good one. I don't need no good day. I need a great day. I need you to handle coaching. I need you to bounce back from adversity. I need you to take it one rep at a time. Come on, I need you to be
Yeah.
intentful about it. So it is that mindset shift that the young guys more so than anybody need constant reminder of.
That intentionality that's moves
Right.
the needle 2 more points, man, it's huge. So, you played at a high level, D1, UNC, ACC. You coach at a high level. What do you love about game day?
Or look and the emotion of it. I mean, it's game day. You run out there, you got somebody in an opposite color jersey. All the work, the culmination of the work and the preparation that we put into it finally gets to be displayed. I tell my guys, I'm no longer a coach on Saturday. Right. Obviously I got my get back responsibilities. We got to warm them up, make sure they're prepared and ready to go. But I tell them, man, the work is done Sunday through Friday. On Saturday, I'm a fan. I get to watch you go out there and do what you do best. Because we've done the work. Like we either get to get the crowd behind us or you get to shut the crowd up. You no longer going against your brothers who you're comfortable with and familiar with. Now you can go to the edge and slightly cross that edge and let it all hang out because you ain't got to worry. You know your brother's with you. You ain't got to worry about harming your brother, embarrassing your brother, doing this to your brother. Now it's somebody else. Now, again, we get to put it on the line. We get to take somebody to the deep end for 60 minutes and see if they can hang. Because them stadiums, when we was running them, that's all we were thinking about, right? We're trying to get better so that we can punish somebody else. Those
Mhm.
sleds, those shuttles, the stadiums. Now we get to take it out on somebody else. So I think it's just a culmination. Like game day is the culmination of everything, the preparation, the work we put in, the studying, like the energy from the crowd, from the band, the pageantry. I still to this day think there's nothing better than college football on Saturdays. Like the professionals offer their uniqueness. Park ball offers their uniqueness, and there's something to be said about park ball, little league football. This quite entertaining. High school has something to offer, but when it comes to college football, and we're talking tailgating, we talking crowds, we're talking bands, we're talking cheerleaders, we're talking high noon kickoff, we're talking the energy because now you get to go out there and let it all hang loose. I think just Saturday, just all exciting all together. I'm getting excited just thinking about it right now. I think we got 125 days till we kick off, and I
You
can't
know,
wait.
those big programs, RVs start rolling in Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah,
They start rolling in then. They're camped out, hanging out, going around campus, maybe catching something, but then sitting there boozing. And then
yeah,
heaven forbid you got a night game on Saturday night and they start boozing at 8 in the morning. And then, 10 hours later, they got to limp over to the game.
right.
You played in different venues. You've been in high level games. Talk about one of the craziest venues where it's just nuts. And like you remember back to this day or this night where it was just out of control nuts.
So with that, I'm gonna have to pull from two experiences, right? You got your coaching experience, you got your playing experience. Both of them very different. As a player, as a player, I mean, I was able to see Clemson Stadium, and obviously they're loud. They've got an experience with them running down the hill. I played at the old Orange Bowl down in Miami before they tore it down. So I think from a historic perspective, that was an experience. Got to play in front of Touchdown Jesus against Notre Dame again for the historic piece of it. That was a great experience. One of the craziest environments as a player, though, I had to say it splits between Virginia Tech and Utah. And I think it might have been the time that we caught Utah. But we caught them, picture this, we caught them when before Urban Meyer left for Florida.
Okay.
And they had Alex Smith and they went on that
Oh, wow.
magical run. And I think they ended up beating Alabama in a Sugar Bowl or Fiesta Bowl or something that year. So we caught them when they were really good and really hot. And I would say that atmosphere out there in the mountains was amazing. On top of the thin air, us coming from North Carolina, us coming from Old Chapel Hill, like we got some
Right.
rolling hills there, but we ain't up there like that, man. Those mountains and that altitude has started to kick in, and it kind of changed the course of the game. But I think that atmosphere being out there, those fans and under the lights was something different. Virginia Tech or Virginia Tech. It gets loud, it gets cold. They got Enter the Sandman. So I enjoyed playing there. That was a whole lot of fun. But I think Like I said, if I got to go 1A, 1B, it'd be Utah. And then 1B would be definitely be Virginia Tech just because it gets loud. They've got that one side that just ricochets sound and it never stops while you're in there. So
Hmm.
those was a crazy experience. From a coaching aspect, I got to flip it from a coaching aspect. We went on the road, I want to say my first year here with UConn. We went on the road. We got to go to see Michigan when they were a top 10 team. We ended up going seeing NC State when they were a top 15 team. There was somebody else we caught early on when they were really, really good. But between that, for some reason, I hate to say it, oh man, they're gonna dog me for this. The NC State atmosphere was ridiculous when we went there. Again, it was they were a top 15 team at the time. It was a night game. They had the fire. They had the LED lights. They would cut the lights off and it'd just be red around the stadium. And they were rolling at, I think they were undefeated, a good 5-6-0 at the time. And we're looking ahead to a couple of games that they were favored in. So, man, they had a really good atmosphere. Loud. I'm talking, it was a sellout crowd at 6 o'clock at night. Like I said, the fire, the lights, the everything. And I hate them. Me being a Carolina guy, I hate them, man, dude. But that was one heck of an environment they had when we went and played them in 24. I think it was season of 24. I think it was 24.
At UNC, you had what Reggie Miller called Black Jesus and Michael Jordan coming out of UNC, right? So that dude is beloved everywhere, but
Mhm.
down in Chapel Hill, he basically walks on water.
Nah, he was the man. They had a bar called He's Not there. I don't know what the real name of it is, but they called it He's Not because apparently that's anytime he was in town and when he was a student there, he would hang out at that bar and they got so used to him being at the bar, people would just come there looking for him. They just had to say, "Nah, he's not here." So yeah, they called it.
Dang, dang. You talked about the pageantry on Saturday, big noon Sunday, college game day kickoff. Money's on the line. It's already been doubled. Your kids are there. Your wife's there. All your boys are
Mhm.
there. And Pat McAfee has you out there to kick that field goal in front of God and everybody. What are the chances you're pushing that ball between the uprights? Kirk Herbstreit's holding it.
I'm going
You know,
50-50, Jim. I'm not even gonna start. I'm going 50-50. Now I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna give it everything I got now. The funny thing is going back to my history, like early on in my career, I actually coached special teams and kickers, punters. So like I understand the steps and where to hit it and how not to hit it with my toe and eyes down, follow through. Like I understand all of that. But again, with the pageantry and everything going on, obviously nerves will
have a
be.
few $100,000 on the line.
Hey, I'm gonna say 50-50, but I'm gonna walk up there and I'm gonna definitely say I'm nailing this for sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'm nailing this for sure. Let's be realistic. I'm gonna go 50-50, but I'm gonna go up there with no fear. I ain't gonna hesitate in anything I'm doing. I'm trying to
You know,
put it
when you
right
hit
through the
that,
uprights.
you're going to be just going ape shit up and down, running up and down that little stretch.
If I hit it, I'm shirt off, I'm
Right.
running. I'm hyped.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
enjoying it. I'm gonna sell it up.
Now, walk me through this. You played high school, you played college,
Mhm,
been an all-star game. You also worked out at camps and the pro level.
mhm.
If you can, characterize the transition to college from a high school to a college level pro. Well, you're a pro athlete then, but then you go on the NFL and the league. Now you're having to up that game up where there's very, very little margin for anything going wrong. Talk about the mindset shifts that must occur, and when you're at the pro level, you're like, "Holy shit, man, life's a little different here." Talk about talk about the shifts that have to occur because people say, "Well, oh, man, I could probably still play, or I could play D1." I'm like, you understand? Only 2% of the world plays D1.
Yeah.
7% play in college. It's a tiny fraction of a percent that graduates from college and goes on to continue their career. So talk about that mindset. What it costs. What's it look like?
So I mean, those guys that play at the college level, I tell them are elite because, like you said, 2% play college ball, right? Less than 1% play big Division One P4 ball. So those guys are elite, and to make it to the NFL, now you're talking about the elite of the elite. So I tell guys like in high school, anybody can do it, right? You can roll out the bed and be better than a bunch of guys that's on the team with you or that you're playing with. When you get to college, now you're talking the best of the best because everybody was something at that level. No longer can you fully rely on just talent. right? You ain't just gonna roll out the bed and be bigger, stronger, faster than everybody, because everybody's big, strong, and fast at that level. Like that's what they were recruited for. They do this. So the mindset shift that has to happen from high school to college is one of intentionality, right? You mentioned that earlier. We brought up a little bit earlier. It's the intent of doing things, right? Every rep has to be done with the intention to get better at it. Either we're going to master the thinking behind it, like the coaching. Why are we doing this? You got to master the understanding of it. You got to master the fluidness of it or the execution of it, right? You can't be out there feet outside of your base, hands wide, eyes all over the place. Like there has to be some intention to the actual execution and technique of it, so that again, if we're falling back on our preparation and game day, we've already run this rep 1,000 times at game speed, so it's more natural to us rather than trying to be forced and then running the risk of messing up. And then there's a sacrifice that has to go to it. And I talk to my guys about this quite a bit, right? It's what are you willing to sacrifice to be that elite 1%, right? Everybody on college campus, they can stay up late. They can watch TV. They can not eat all day or grab chips and junk food and all that. What are you willing to sacrifice to get better and be that 1%? Because the way we demand things from you, it's not going to slow down. You got to take care of your body, meaning you got to sacrifice staying up late and take your butt to sleep. Got to get that rest. You got to sacrifice and go grab some real food. We got our guys coming back and getting extra shakes, extra gainer shakes in the afternoon. You got to sacrifice and make the time to come back and get that, because we need you to eat. How else are you going to recover? How else are you going to have energy to do what we need to do? How else are you going to gain weight? Right? You can't eat like a high school cheerleader. You can't be them. You got to get your butt in here, eat breakfast. You got to eat lunch before you leave. You got to grab a snack. You got to eat in between class. You got to eat dinner, because you got to fuel that body because of what we're asking you to do and the demands we're going to put on you. So the sacrifice has to come in the form of giving up some stuff so that you can prepare, giving up some stuff so that you can recover, giving up some stuff so that you can get into a system and a routine that gets you ready for the day. Again, we talk about intentionality. You can't roll in the facility 10, 15 minutes before it's time to hit the field and think you're going to be the best out there. You got to make a sacrifice and get in and be intentional about seeing the trainers, getting the hot tub, foam rolling, going through a mobility routine, putting on your headphones, listening to a podcast or music, reviewing game notes, reviewing your plays and install from the night before. So going from from high school to college, again, the mindset shift has to be one of sacrifice, one of intention. Because again, you're not the big fish in a little pond anymore. You're small fish in a big pond until you make yourself that big fish. And then going to the NFL, it's even that much more intensified, because they've refined their processes, their routines, like their execution is flawless. The mindset to understand and execute the playbook, like that's livelihood. That's how they get paid. We're no longer taking a gamble on whether you know your plays or not. We're no longer taking a gamble on whether you're eating and doing the right things to make sure you make weight, or that you recover and you're available to be on the field to practice and to play. Like, we're not taking any of that for chance. And I think in high school, you take it for granted because you're young and can just do it. In college, you start to understand it. You start to see that separation where some guys say, all right, I got to take it serious. I got to do X, Y, and Z to make sure I'm ready to roll. And you got another group of guys that's happy to put on the jersey, happy to be a part of the team. You know, I made it. This is probably about as far as I'm go. But then when you get to the league, body it's cliche to say everybody's a professional at what they do. They've got their routine. They've already made the sacrifices. They know what they need to do day in and day out to be prepared to execute at a high level. And then the effort. The last one is the effort, the effort, the effort. Effort should never be a question or negotiable. At the pros, effort is never questioned because they know they got 6 to 7 seconds. That's their paycheck. In college, you still got to tug and pull with some guys about daily effort. You see the ones that give the effort and make that separation versus the ones that still struggle with doing it consistently on a play in and play out basis. And then in high school, like sometimes you can give effort and really succeed, and you can not give effort and still have some success.
Sure, sure.
I mean, I know I said a lot there. That culmination of all that, the intentionality, the sacrifice, the understood effort, man, and just the buy-in, the buy-in and being all in on everything that's asked of you to do to be successful at those levels kind of changes from high school to college to the pros.
So what I took from that was like you just exactly like how you laid it out is that first step, that transition, it's an awakening where they got a whole different level of work and effort that they're not used to having to put out for most of those folks. So
Yup.
they have to learn how to be a professional at what they do. And let's not kid ourselves with what they're making right now in college. They're absolutely professionals. And if you're a top
Yeah.
2% or anything, if you're a top 2% accountant in the planet, you're awesome, right?
Yeah, right, right.
So going to that pro level, now all that is just the standard. All that high level stuff is the standard. That's the minimum, and it's all expected. So there's no taking plays off. You're down 21 points with 3 minutes to go in the game. You're still going all out, right? Because you still want to play
Exactly.
next, right? There's
Exactly.
no let off. It's absolutely relentless.
And
So
I
that's what,
don't know. This might be cliche off topic. I don't know if the money has helped or hurt us in that sense. Now, obviously, some guys get the money and that pushes the motivation. Oh, I got to make sure I can re-sign his contract or re-sign his NIL deal. You know, some guys are very much worth the money. Other guys may get the money and think, oh, I made it. I'm good now. What I need to go to the pros for? I'm making 250, 350, $400,000 right here, right now. So I think it's the NIL money is a gift and a curse, especially amongst the locker room when you start talking about a sense of value and a sense of worth.
yep. There's courses that the NFL players must take on money management, and they're a few years older,
Yeah,
hopefully more mature. So you got to take some kids that are even less mature or have less experience or less guidance, and now it's just even more challenging.
I
One of the
think
things I like,
if they get some money, they should automatically. I don't care whether they're a freshman or a senior. They should automatically, like part of their curriculum or their student life development should be some financial awareness class, some
yeah,
financial literacy class,
a
open up
basic Dave
banks,
Ramsey
understanding
class.
tax.
Yeah, a basic Dave Ramsey class.
Yeah, something just so they're
A
not just
base
spending money.
his like his class has been used by people, millions across the planet. He'll talk about at the lowest level, just get different envelopes for your different buckets of money for that month, whether it's your rent or your food or whatever. Put your cash in those envelopes, and then you separate it that way. If you want to just lay it out chapter and verse, something very basic, like there's so much value that they make, and if they would just invest some of it in something very basic and low risk
Hmm.
instead of just, hey man, where
Just
do you want to
spending it.
go? Just spending it,
Hey, I seen a lot of Dodge race cars out in the parking lots.
right? But John Stockton, a Hall of Fame point guard, drove a pickup that was always 10 years old, right?
I ain't mad at them. I understand. I ain't
Yep.
mad at them at all.
Who was that one guy for the Bengals? He's cheap as shit. Ocho Cinco, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chad Johnson, yes. He'll
He's
tell you he's cheap.
always like pinching money, like, but he's
Yeah,
got plenty now because he always pinching it, like being smart about it.
yeah, absolutely right. I think they said, was it Dirk Nowitzki? Used to bring like Tupperware to games, like Tupperware food, leftover food, and all that to the
Right,
game, and drive an old car too.
right.
Yeah,
This
so
is
I
this,
think they need some type of financial literacy class for these guys because again, you're giving them too much money at too young of an age to expect them to know what to do with it. They need to have some understanding, bank accounts, savings accounts, how
right.
credit works, how to
Yep.
invest, how the taxes work, specifically the taxes and what they need to do to prepare for them, and some investment wise.
Again, if you play for Miami Hurricanes and you're in the state of Florida, there's no state tax,
Hey,
right?
that's hard. That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
hard to
let's switch
beat.
gears a little bit. You mentioned about before we started about you rushed home to the East Coast, saw some family, but went
Mm,
to one of your boys' weddings, one from your teammates, I think it was, or a player.
One of my former players.
And you know, when you invest in someone like that, I noticed here that you had a dean that was your mentor, some lady, and then you had these guys that are inviting you to their wedding. And I've coached people where they have me come to their open house, or they've graduated from college and they're married and they have a kid that they bring by the gym. I'm calling this portal pain. Like when you invest someone, but then season's over and then they jump in a portal and gone.
Yeah.
Talk about how you still got to uphold the standard and invest in that kid, and how that pain can be real for a coach, right? And for the player, because some of those players love you, but they might
Hmm.
find, hey man, I'm getting paid somewhere else over here, or I might play over there, So I find it hard to invest in someone, and then for me, if they just quit the gym and they just regress into being fat and out of shape, I'm like, oh man, I didn't
Yeah.
reach it.
Yeah. No, I can get
I
that.
didn't
I
reach it.
get that.
So talk about that portal pain as a coach that you've
It's,
experienced.
I mean, it's difficult. It's interesting to navigate. So I obviously, if you got somebody young and they show promise, like selfishly, you want to keep them there for the talent. But honestly, I don't even think about the the possibility of them leaving at a certain time, right? Because if we're talking about taking it one day at a time, being where our feet is at, focusing on what we can control, like we're in the thick of it right now. What we're doing on Monday has nothing to do with the portal opening in January. Because again, it's not guaranteed that they're going to get in it or they're going to stay. Like it's a 50-50 chance. I mean, regardless, day to day, me, myself, I'm going to pour into them. They're part of my program. I'm responsible for leading them. I tell their parents and them when they get in the door, like my goal is to be as genuine and authentic with you as possible. I need you to trust in what I'm saying. I need you to respect and trust what I'm saying. Cause at some point I'm gonna ask you to run through the wall. And I just need you to look at it and say, I got you, coach. So like I'm not looking towards, all right, he's a short-term rental, he's here for 6 months and then he's gonna get in the portal now. Like if you're here, you're part of our program, you're part of our culture, you are part of the CSU Rams football team where I'm at right now. You are part of this team. And we need you to buy into the culture and meet the standards, just like the freshman that just signed with us, just like the walk-on that joined us, just like John Smith, who's a fourth-year senior who's stuck it out the 4 years and not thought about the portal. So regardless of how you got here, we're here for one goal, right? And a thing you got to look at it is, if you're here, you get one opportunity at it, right? There will never be another rendition of this football team. And with my guys, I tell them this 2026 CSU Rams football team, there will never be another rendition of it. Like, what are they going to say when it's all said and done? What are they going to say about this team? What are they going to say about this culture? What are they going to say about you as not only a player, but a teammate? So we can't even think about the portal. Obviously, we'll handle it when we get there. We've had guys, when we made this transition here to Colorado State, we had guys that we wanted to bring with us to UConn, ended up going other places, right? Again, selfishly, man to man, you're a little hurt. Like, dang, I thought we had a better relationship. I wonder if there's something I could have did to kind of convince them to get here. But when it comes down to it, a lot of times when they talk dollars and cents, it's like, okay, I understand. That's the name of the game now. It's a business, like you said, professional sports at the amateur level, at the collegiate level. So you got to understand that they go a different route for, oh, I'm closer to family. Oh, they offered me more money. They, et cetera, et cetera. Don't hold it against them. Give them a call. Hey, what was the thinking behind it? All right, if you can talk it out, if you can clearly communicate it and voice like the reasons behind it, no doubt. I love you and I support you. If that's what you thought was best for you and your family and what you wanted to do, I can't be mad at you. Let me know if you ever need anything. I'm always here. Nothing changes. And I've got a couple guys I've already reached out to like that. We've had conversations. My guy Cam Edwards at Michigan State. We had a nice conversation about midway through spring. Thought he was going to be joining us out here. Ended up going that route. But again, if they offer 2x the amount of money we were going to offer and this opportunity at X amount of carries and a projection at the draft at this round or whatever. Again, completely understand you did what you thought was best for you. I love you regardless. there's some of the things that we've been dealing and pushing and pulling with. Understand other people probably not going to be as patient in some sense, but I know who you are. I had you as a freshman. This is what you got to tighten up on. So again, I
All
don't
right.
I don't think about the portal. And when they leave, I try not to take it personal. I may be a little emotionally hijacked at the moment that they did decide to leave. But again, their decision, they're young people. They got to make those choices and decisions. And again, if they can communicate it and say why and the reason behind it, hey, I love you for it. I'm here to support you, whether you're here with us or not. My number hasn't changed since high school. That's my line. My number hasn't changed since high school. You can reach out to me.
It's the same advice that you would give any other kid. Control the controllables, do your best with what you have right now.
Exactly.
Don't think about a week from now or 10 weeks from now. You think about today and go all in on today and go, right? So
Exactly.
it's the same advice. It travels up and down the ladder, and that's why it works.
Now when we get towards the end of the season, or you start hearing those rumblings of, oh, I might be getting in the port. You can try and intervene and try and see where their head is at, early on. But again, you're not gonna stop if they got their mind made up. You're not gonna stop them at all. And just like a parent, like you said, with young kids, like you can't take it personal. Like, they think they know it all. When you were 20, you thought you knew all the answers and knew what you were doing, regardless of what your mentor, your dad, uncle, coach said to you. So we can only give them advice. We can only give them advice, help them think it through it, and just let them make a decision they feel is best for them, and just support them in that sense.
You made a couple comments here about communicating, and one of the things I've highlighted here in the bio that in the questionnaire that you sent me, like if you're married and you and your wife and you guys decide that the kid's bedtime is 9 o'clock, well, it's got to be 9 o'clock for both parents, right? You can't be playing kid can't be playing one parent against the other. And I was just at Ohio State a couple weeks ago for their clinic, and Coach Day was talking about how leaders must be seen, felt, and heard. And just hit me immediately because 2 years ago, when I had Mickey Marotti, the strength coach for Ohio State, on my show, he said leaders must be seen, felt, and heard. So 2 years later, same
Same
consistent
quote.
message, just like the parent. And what you have here, you wrote down reinforcing and communicating the messaging and vision of the head coach. So you got to be lock, stop all the time, same message, same culture, same core values. Talk about the
Yes,
importance of building culture and communication.
it's all about consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. The messaging has to be consistent. The ideology has to be consistent. The energy has to be consistent. And we've got to be speaking the same language from the top. Now, obviously, me and Coach Moore, he'll talk, and I'll been there and wrote something down, and he's saying the same thing that I've gotten written down in a different way. In our thinking and how we've developed the program. I've been with him 4 years. I've been blessed to be with him 4 years, the whole 4 years at UConn, and seeing how he operates and hearing what he's saying. I kind of know what he's gonna say or what he's thinking, but then there's also, and you can attest to this from being around the game long enough, from being around locker rooms long enough, from being around weight rooms long. Like there are certain things you got to hit on a daily basis in order to drive it forward. It's no fluff. It's just flat out, this is the culture of getting better. And when we talk about controlling the controllable, we talk about controlling your attitude. I tell them, control your attitude. Once you make up your mind that something's going to suck or be great, you're absolutely right. Control your damn attitude, right? Come in and control your intent. Don't just be loosey goosey floating with the wind and all that. Be intent about getting better at something. Be intent about your movements, and then bring me great energy and effort. You can't do anything half-ass. If you got great effort, great energy on everything, you bring me those three things. We can work with everything else. We'll tell you where you need to be, what you need to be doing, where you need to go, what time you need to be there. But just control what you can control, and we'll get better in that mindset. We'll get better in that day, in that mindset moving forward, and then just being consistent with that messaging so that they constantly hear it, constantly hear it. Like it gets ingrained. Like I laugh and joke with the guys. They'll mimic me and do some of my mannerisms and all of that. But I'll look at them and say, "But you know what I'm gonna say already, and you can quote it back to me." And they'll laugh and be like, "Yeah, you right." So that's how you know it's kind of hitting home. If they laugh and joke with you and mock you a little bit, you know it's hitting home, and they're actually hearing you. They're just displaying it in their way.
The thing we talk about all the time is building mindset is that it takes a repetition to build those synapses, that neuroplasticity in your head, right?
Mhm,
So the consistency is something that's all the time, right? How many times you walk into a dark room and not think about, hey man, I should probably turn on a light switch. No, you walk
yeah,
in a
c learn
dark
it.
room, you are programmed to turn on a light switch. And so your coaching staff is that 2%er level and above NFL level where you are the standard is already being a professional and knocking that
Mhm,
down all the time. You're getting these younger folks trying to get them to that level. So once you can get the whole staff on the same page, which has to be happen immediately, then you got to attack the seniors and the captains. So that trickles on down to those new kids that walk in. Because once your culture is set, that's your number one asset. It's more important than the field, more important than a barbell. Your culture is number one.
mhm. The locker room gotta take care of itself, and we trying to implore our guys, obviously, with us bringing in 60, I wanna say we flipped the roster at 67 new guys
Yo,
between early enrollee freshmen, portal guys. I think we had 60 something new. So we had no culture, flat out. Had no culture. Everybody's trying to figure it out on the fly. And like you said, from the staff down, echoing the same message. And it's not a whole lot of messaging and words that we do. Like we've got our standards and we tell them we're gonna set the standard, we're gonna set the expectation, we're definitely gonna communicate it to you so that you understand. So we'll never expect something from you that we haven't told you or talked to you about or addressed. And then once we've addressed it and communicated, we're gonna hold you accountable to it. And everything we communicate and do is trying to make sure the culture and accountability is there, whether it's locker room, cleaning up your locker, whether it's moving the dumbbells back straight like they're supposed to, whether it's grabbing your sheets off the racks after we're done lifting, whether it's weighing in before training. Like every little thing matters and every little thing contributes to that damn culture. So
it
just
does.
consistency and showing up and being genuine and holding those guys accountable to everything that we communicate has been a big part of it. And we're getting there. You know, older guys are starting to pick on younger guys are figuring it out. And we implore the locker room to take care of itself. We got a super games captain where they voted on 20 guys to lead our 10 teams for our competitions during winter and spring. And we'll meet with those guys. Hey, this is what's going on. Do y'all want to address it or do we need to continue to address it? And they've been good about addressing certain things, and then we'll talk and bring up any issues so that they can address it from the player side of the locker room, and then we'll address it from the staff side. So we implore them to do a lot. So it's a lot of trying to push them in the role of being leaders and holding their teammates accountable, and then us doing it on our side with addressing it as a whole team and making them all kind of go through, I don't want to say punishment, but go through those behavior modification exercises just to reap
Behavior
what's out of it.
modification exercises.
Yes.
Yes, I know what some of those feel like.
Yes.
Backing
So there
someone's
you go.
hand on my ass when I was younger. One of my behavior modification exercises was standing in the corner for an hour or two, just standing in the corner and staring at the wall,
Man, that's brutal.
or sitting in front by the teacher because I was talking too much, or behavior modification, getting pulled over and getting a ticket. There's a
Yeah,
behavior
exactly.
modification effort. Yeah.
For every action, there's a reaction.
Yes, sir. You wrote mental toughness changes in different generations. Now I'm 51. I don't see any gray hair on you over there, but not quite as old as me. But every generation is going to be different. It's molded by the one before it.
Yeah, so that's the one I
Talk-
wanted to pick your brain about.
All right, hit me.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to pick your brain about. Like with you having been in the gym and having seen a couple generations. Heck, you might have coached me or one of my coaches. Like, what have you seen has been the different in the mindset as the generation goes on? Because I got a 14-year-old. I know
Mm,
what dealing with him is like.
hmm
I also coach 18 to 24-year-olds. I know what dealing with them is like. I've also coached U9. Now they're a little different, but I know what dealing with U9, U12 is like. But then I've also been coaching 15 years. So I've seen iterations of 18 to 24-year-olds kind of come through, and I see little differences here and there as far as um, being able to endure through tough situations and deal with adversity and disappointment. I just kind of wanted to see from your perspective, have you seen a real big difference?
I could point out a few trends. One, on the training environment, it's not respected or utilized much. The travel teams have those kids playing nonstop,
Mm,
nonstop, 10 plus months a year. A softball team will come to us and say, "Hey, we want you for our off-season strength and conditioning." They come 2 days a week in 1 month. They come 8 times and they want them stronger and faster. I'm like, "You're a fucking idiot. There's no
yeah,
way
I've
they're
seen that
gonna do
too.
it." So, one, the strength and conditioning world is not utilized as much. And if you don't have a decent program in the high school, then those kids are not gonna be strong. That's why you see the injury rate super high. The parents have bought into, hey, just more and more practices, more and more showcases. And so I've seen burnout a lot higher,
Overuse injuries.
overuse injuries. In terms of, you know, we had sports performance, what, 14 years? For your own son or kids, I found it easiest for me to have another coach in my own gym work with him that versus me. They might say the exact same words, but they have someone else saying it to them. They might listen to it. But as a whole, I find the kids now, the younger ones in middle school, even high school, they struggle a little bit just looking at me or looking in my
Hmm.
eye. I
Hmm.
talk to them. I see a lot of fear in everything. Can I do this? How do I look? They're worried about how they look with other kids. So I see
Yeah,
a lot of fear and anxiety, trepidation. I don't see the farm boy strength kids coming in.
yeah,
I
I can
see
agree.
real short attention spans where we're in a little bit of discomfort if it's a heavier deadlift and if they don't pull it off the break it off the ground in the first half second, I'm like, man, you got to pull for 4 seconds. I have to be deliberate. Pull for 4 seconds. As long as it keeps moving up, we're still moving. So I've seen some things there, and I also seen them thirsty that when I come to them and say, hey, I'm going to pour into you. I'll say it right to their face. I'm going to help you get better in this area. If you just hold on here, you're going to do some great things. And I'll explain a little bit more deeply the whys behind we're doing it. Then I'll try to inspire. Then I'll have to legislate. Hey, that's not how we do things here. Um, but they want those boundaries and they are thirsty for it. Um, but overall, they're a bit weaker.
Yeah, yeah,
They're a
yeah.
bit more, they're a bit more timid, and they have shorter attention spans.
So I think you hit on one or two things there that stuck out. You talk about them wanting to kind of not stand out in the wrong way, right? They kind of want to be able to fit in with their
Yep,
group. They don't want to be seen as
a
trying to
tryhard,
fail. Yeah, you don't want to
a
be a try
tryhard.
hard, but then you don't
That's a
want to
bad word.
try
That's a
and
bad
fail.
phrase. That's like calling you a motherfucker, right? You're a
Yes,
tryhard.
yes. They don't want to get out front and lead I mean, and obviously you got the 1%, those kids that are a little different, but they're few or far in between. But yeah, that part about one dude go with the flow of what your friend group
Hmm.
is doing. I think social media, everything being broadcast right out has to deal with that. I've seen that they want instant gratification
Yeah.
a little bit more. They want it right now. They think that again because of social media and because of NLI and everything. I think they want it a little bit faster. They think it's supposed to come easy. They deserve it rather than have to earn
Hmm.
some of the successes. And if they don't get those successes fast enough, they'll do something else. Because you see it, especially with the portal. If this ain't going away, shit, I'm supposed to be a starter. I ain't starting. I'm gonna hit the portal and go find somewhere else. Or I'm a deadlift, like you talking about with my guy, the deadlift. If he's deadlifting and it ain't moving fast enough or the weight ain't going up enough, I can't get strong. I'm gonna move on. This is too long. So I've definitely seen a shift in that instant gratification, being able to stick through and to stick with the process with the young guys.
I quote the movies. I quote books. I quote authors. I'm like, hey, man, no, everyone had to build. Everyone loves that story. No one just showed up and they were starting and they were just great. Every story, like with Rocky and everybody else, like they all had to build.
Hmm.
Everyone has to build. No one just gets there. And no one, if you do just get there, no, you can't sustain it because you don't know how to keep fighting when things don't go well. You have to learn how to fight because later you're going to have to. It's going to be a requirement. Like those guys at the high that started the D1 level or play beyond there, every day is their hair on fire. Like they
They
have
had to
to
do something.
go.
They damn had to do something. So yeah, I think that's. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. I really want to ask you about that because again, you've seen it over generations, but with me having been, I want to say maybe half the experience you got, you're seeing the same thing I see. Like kids used to be a little bit grittier, a little bit hungrier to grind, a little bit more receptive to leadership. Now I'm also seeing, you've got some kids that want that structure, that want that discipline, that want somebody to be on them. And then you got kids that are all the way resistant of it. Is they just can't follow the line. They got to find a way to do it their own way or not follow what we're asking them to do. So I've kind of seen a little bit of both on that.
On the Coach Day's 5 C's for leadership, the one that he harped on the most was courage, and that you have to be courageous to stand out. You have to be courageous to do a little extra work that people might make fun of you for. And when you hold your teammates accountable, you got to be very courageous because they're going to look at you. They're going to say something, hey, get the fuck off me. Quit, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And that person, you're just trying to love that person enough to get them better.
Yeah.
And they're going to resist. So it takes tremendous courage to do that. As a player or coach, you get to only pick one. If you win a national title at UNC,
Hmm.
or you're at Colorado State. So we'll say here at Colorado State, you win a national title now. I'm sure one will have more money because it's a little bit later in years. You only get one. You
Player
can win
or
it
a
as a player,
coach. Man,
or you can win it as a coach.
that's that's tough. I mean, selfish. That's tough. I'm actually say as a coach, as a coach.
Okay,
All right, I'm
how
gonna say
come?
as a coach. Obviously, selfishly, you would want to be part of a team and have some contribution to winning a national championship. But I feel like as a player, with you not directly, again, it goes into the process of leading up to everything. If I can say I had a hand in making sure these guys were not only physically prepared for the strain and the grind and the length of the season to win a national championship, I had a hand in the mindset and the culture to endure some of those tough moments to get us over the hump to get to that championship. And I play a part in helping these guys succeed past where they thought they actually could succeed. So for me, it goes into paying it forward and pouring into those guys. Because if I win a national championship, it's my memory. If I help them win a national championship, I help make a memory for 100 and something individuals and the coaching staff and all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with as a coach.
All right. Would you rather beat Clemson or NC State?
Would I rather beat Clemson or NC State? Man, NC State without a doubt.
All
Yeah,
right,
no, I got no, we no, the NC State without a doubt.
gotcha.
Just don't like them.
Just don't like them.
Just
The
don't like them.
Wolfpack.
Don't like
Uh,
them at all.
when you lift, when you're training, what do you like to listen to?
Hey, I'm going early 2000s Southern trap music. Young Jeezy, T.I. I'm listening to, I might throw some Lil Wayne in there. Ain't no Mike, Lil Wayne is in there, some 2 Chainz. That was my era. I was in college 2000, 2000, still young and in the weight room and lifting up through that early 2007, 2015. So that was kind of my heyday that gets me moving. That's what I understand. So yeah, I'm going Southern trap music, like early 2000s trap music. Give me the bass, all of that.
Bucket list. You and your wife. I forgot you are married, right, Shelton?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. So that's on the record, so that she listens to
That's
this later.
absolutely fine.
Yeah, on the record. It's a bucket list adventure. You and your wife are going, no kids, and you can't have gone there before.
But I think we've actually mentioned we was somewhere in Dubai,
Okay.
or the beaches and the beaches and the coastline in Santorini, Greece. Like you see pictures of it and the water and how everything overlooks the coast and the yachts and all of that. So we no kids, we're able to get away and just enjoy. And it's either Dubai or Santorini, Greece, down there on the coast.
Not the east side in Cleveland where I'm from, not there.
No,
Maybe
man, we want to go somewhere with palm trees and sand.
they ain't got none of that there.
If you're gonna get away,
Oh,
you got to get away.
what's your favorite sports movie?
This is a controversial one, right? So I actually thought about this when I saw that on the list, and I thought I'd be able to answer fast. And this is a controversial one. So I'm gonna say Little Giants. The Little Giants. You're talking the ultimate underdog story, and somebody will say Rocky, somebody will say
Hoosier.
Rudy. But you look at what Little Giants accomplished. Like he literally, the coach was not good enough to coach with his brother on the winning team. He took a bunch of players that weren't good enough to make that team. He brought them together for a common goal because they wanted to be on a team. He made them believe that they could win and be successful. And he poured into them kids, and I'd be damned if they didn't go out there and beat the best team in
Right.
the area. And then there's there's some funny quips here and there with my man running around the ref saying blow the whistle, hot hands with the hands on his jersey and all like. But Little Giants, it blends comedy and a message in it in the end. So I'm gonna go Little Giants.
All right. Favorite sport to watch?
Football, of course.
Favorite athlete to watch? Could be still alive, could be dead, could be current, could be anybody.
So back in my playing days, I was a big Warren Sapp fan because I played D line. Just to love his quickness and his suddenness, man, the moves he worked, like the swagger he brought in the trenches. So Warren Sapp was my favorite to watch. And then and Michael Vick, man, was stunning. I was in Atlanta when he was with the Falcons. I spent some time in Virginia, got to hear about him and see him at Virginia Tech. So between Michael Vick and Warren Sapp, man, those dudes were different.
I think I saw him throw the ball 70 yards flat-footed one day.
And I believe it.
Like, just I'm like, "How does that happen?" Like, what a physical specimen. One of probably my favorite play in football to watch is whenever an offensive lineman or a big D lineman ends up with the ball and they're running,
Mhm, mhm.
they're holding it up high, their
They don't
head's
know what to
doing
do.
this.
Yeah,
That is my absolute favorite play ever to watch in football, and especially if they got, like, 30, 50 yards in them, not like just 3
yeah.
yards in,
But if you
and
go back
so
and look at Warren Sapp highlights, he's got the ball and he knows what he's doing with it. Like Dion, a big Dion with the ball.
right. Have you ever had a game where you had the ball and you're running with it?
No, man. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, yes, yes. On my
Scoop
freshman
and
year, I almost
score,
had an interception. I'm still a little
fumble
upset
recovery.
about that. But when I stopped playing in that time where the tryouts and the calls slowed down, my old teammate of mine, he was in the area playing for a semi-pro team. And he got me to come out there one day. And somehow we ended up getting a sack fumble and I scooped it up and I rumbled 70 yards, ended up in
Let's
the end
go.
zone. I had some guys with me making sure I didn't get caught. I
Right.
ended up rumbling about 70 yards, ended up in the end zone with it. So yeah, I did one time.
Breathing hard.
I needed 2 series
Oxygen.
off before I can get back in.
That's right. You got a book recommendation for us?
I saw this and I'm a little disappointed at myself. This lets me know I need to get back to reading a little bit more. I got lazy and getting on podcast, listening to podcasts and watching YouTube presentations and audio books and all of that. When I do go to grab a book, it's anything by John C. Maxwell. Athlete Builder. They'll go Athlete Builder. I recommend you Athlete Builder. I'm waiting on my copy. So for me, it's John C. Maxwell, and obviously I could have said Tier System by Joe Ken. I love that book. When I was starting off, like that was my Bible. I read that front to back and back to front. But as we get more into it, understanding that this role is more of leadership, obviously the X's and O's and understand progressions and rep set schemes and all of that is important. But being at the front of the group, being at the head of the team, like it's about leadership and understanding how to lead and how to display that leadership. So I like picking up anything from John C. Maxwell. It's a quick read. It hits on a lot of good points. You can always pull something from it and be intentional about it within minutes of reading it. Right now on my desktop, got what is that? How successful people think sitting right on my coffee table right now. I'll pick up and flip through, read a couple pages at a time. So that's usually my go-to. But as soon as I get my athlete builder book, I'm gonna sit down and make sure I hammer through that before we get into spring.
Do you need me to send you one? Or you be able to go on Amazon and afford $9?
I'm just about to say I'm gonna support you and just flat out buy it. You just gave me the reminder to buy it.
You know, it's funny talking with Louis Simmons at West Side Barbell, legend in powerlifting and dealing with athletes. And you ask him about some of his favorite books, and he leads off with the Book of the Five Rings, and it talks about the different characteristic traits to build a samurai, and how that mindset is what's required to compete at a high level. So that
Okay.
might be one you might like.
Okay. Just wrote it down.
Superhero. They could be a real life person. Some people say they're their mother,
I'm about to say I can't say
or
my mom, can I?
you can. People have said that, or you can say something fictional, or you can say both. But you have a hero and a villain for us.
A superhero, without being too cheesy. I'm gonna actually go the every sense of the word when people think about a hero and something comic book wise. I'm gonna say Spider-Man. Spider-Man has always been kind of a childhood favorite for me.
There you
He's
go.
just been just everything he does. Web slingers, got one liners. Young kid just trying to make the world better, one block at a time.
And get a girlfriend while he's doing it.
They can get a exactly trying to
Nothing wrong with that.
navigate. Trying to navigate high school, man. I feel for
Right.
him.
That's
It's
tough.
tough time. And then my villain, I got two for you. Heath Ledger's Joker.
Most
Simply
popular
amazing.
answer all time on our podcast.
Listen, Jim, the man did a phenomenal job with that role. Like, it's
He lived it.
unbelievable the method acting he did it. He made you like understand where the Joker was coming from and like what is like he did a phenomenal job. And then one off the cuff. So my wife, she's into these K dramas like right now, the Korean dramas and watching it on Netflix and all of that. So somehow she roped me into watching one with her. And
So
there's this character on one, The Alchemy of Souls. She made me watch. I sat down and watched this whole series with
I
her.
said
And there's
three
a guy
times
in
that
there.
she made him watch. I bet he watched himself and dragged his wife.
And now it's the other way around, and I promise you. But there's a character in there, a dude named Jin Moo. I don't know his real name, but if I ever see him in anything else, he will always be the bad guy, Jin Moo. Like he played that role to a T too. I don't like to see his face in anything.
Man,
So I'm
I don't
gonna
know
go
if you
with
ever
that.
saw Silence of the Lambs, but Hannibal Lecter for me.
I've
I don't know
heard
if you
now. I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched it, but I've heard. I always hear about
if you
his
watch it,
role.
just pay attention every step of the way. It's psychologically vicious.
Okay, I'll take your
I love
advice on
this
that.
next answer. Your favorite lift.
My favorite lift. So I'm transitioning to the Zercher squat.
I love
And
the Zercher squat.
I'm starting to I've become a big fan of it. So with my range of motion starting to get limited with bad elbows and all that, the front squat isn't as
Yeah.
fun anymore, so to speak. So the
I
Zercher
get better
allows me to
depth in the Berserker squat. I like how it builds the back so much.
yes, you get biceps in there, you get your lower back, you get your upper back, and then you can really work those extreme ranges of depth with it. You can
Mhm.
get down in there. So I'm enjoying the Zercher squat right now.
And you got a quote for us?
Yeah, I always use my own. I take grown man habits and behaviors, right? You want to be treated as a grown man. You want to be looked at as a grown man. You got to have grown man habits and behaviors. But I think I wrote down.
Love that. That's cool. That's good, man. I love that.
Yeah, I say it to my guys all the time, man. Just flat out grown man habits and behaviors. Like be a grown man about what you do.
Yes, sir. Where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter or X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Now I don't do a whole heck of a lot because I'm an old man and I'm actually busy. I think social media is another job in itself. So I know that's one thing I've got to get better at as well as doing more podcasts with you. So I appreciate you forcing me out of my comfort zone and getting on this thing and talking. But yeah, they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, X, Mr. Coach underscore Bynum. Shout out to the water guy for that one. And then Facebook and LinkedIn is just my name straight up.
For those who want to reach out to us, info@athlete-builder.com. Mental Edge Academy is running strong in the summer boot camps. We added things for leadership for the captains. We added things for coaches burnout. Hit me up for that, Mental Edge Academy. Sean had a great time. Thanks to Chad Coy again for yet another hookup. Just a very giving colleague, and just enjoyed the time, man. I enjoyed the insights. It was cool and chill and relaxed. And man, thanks for taking the time and the effort and the intentionality of pouring into this show to get other people better.
No, I appreciate you, man. Again, I appreciate you getting me out of my comfort zone, getting me on and talking. Fun conversation, man. I hope we have many more conversations, man, to be honest with you.
Let's
I
do
hope
it.
we
Let's
stay
keep let's keep it
rolling.
rolling.
Let's do it.
All right, Sheldon. We'll see you.
All right. Appreciate you, Jim.
Yep,
Go Rams.
my man.